Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. All right, Core Discord, bring us in today on a Monday after the championship games of the NFL. Thanks a lot, David Immendorf. You know what? David Immendorf is a big San Francisco 49er fan, so I'm sure he's happy today. Maybe I give him a call later on today. We should probably try calling him today, Jack, just out of the blue, see what he does. See if he answers. I should have texted him.
Well, he was born when? What year?
88.
So he's like, what, a Steve Young guy?
Yeah.
That's why he's a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
They were good when he was young, so he picked them up. They were good when he was young.
It probably wasn't the greatest idea ever, but then again, he would have been rooting for what, the Andy Reid Eagles or something. So
yeah,
I guess
you never know.
you know what when did they win their last Super Bowl, San Fran? Just real quick before we get in.
I think it was the 90s, right before the.
So he would have been real young. He would have probably enjoyed that 2017 Eagles Super Bowl more than he would have got that one. So he should have been an Eagles fan.
He's got another one coming up though. So that's David Immendorf of Core Discord. Eventually, I'll have to have him, and we get the Zoom working. We'll get him as a guest. Episode 24 of It All Boils Down to This. Jack Boyle and Jim Boyle here, and we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be a football-centric show today because yesterday was probably one of the more interesting, we'll call it, championship rounds of the NFL that we've had in a while. I know you made a point about it's a great game because both games are great teams playing. So let's lead off with that and your opinion on
just
those.
Starting with the conference, I say, I've said this for a while now. Conference Championship Day is my favorite day of the year because I think it's the best sports day in the year. I'm not into the NFL Sunday in Week 14 when all these teams are playing. It's just bad quarterback after bad quarterback and just bad team, stupid coach. I guess we still have some stupid coaching in this round, but it's normally you get the good football and you get great games. Last year we got screwed by Purdy and then the other backup getting hurt and one of the games sucked, but we got a real good game. This year we got two great games, so I'm always excited for this day and it definitely lived up. We have a lot to talk about. And
doesn't it expose coaching really? I think when we talk about Detroit and again we had a big argument at home. And I agreed with what Greg Olsen said, but it exposes a lot of coaching as well. It looked like and we'll start with the Kansas City Ravens. It looked like the Ravens were tight. They couldn't get loose. They just didn't seem like they had their mojo going, is what I would say. And Mahomes just did a great job in the first half of getting a lead. And then on the other side, you have Detroit taking up a huge lead, 17-point lead, and then completely collapsing in the second half, and actually then also some interesting play calls on that manner. But again, the greatest day for football, if you want to watch consecutive games on a Sunday, I think the best teams usually are in the mix, and I think the two better teams ended up winning. So we get the two best teams going right now in the NFL are playing against each other. So and again. We'll see what happens.
Well, again, I don't know if I agree with that there. Look, I'm high on the Chiefs, everything. I think the Ravens are the better team in terms of things. I think, like I said,
you want to do the 10 out of 10?
If you play the game 10 times, the Ravens win it 7 times. But on that day, the Chiefs beat them because the Ravens basically beat themselves and the Chiefs let them do it. It was a very, like I said, it's starting to get to comparisons with the Patriots dynasty. It's very much like a win with the Patriots where it's maybe we don't have the best team this year, but we're not going to make mistakes and we're going to give ourselves a chance to win. And not every time the Patriots won like that and wouldn't win those games, but you have a chance at winning if you don't make mistakes and you have a great quarterback and a great coach.
I totally agree with that. That comes down to the point that how great a coach Belichick was, even though he did have Brady. You know what? They never made mistakes in big games. They never made coaching mistakes. He always coached the same way. His philosophy was, I'm going to take away your best player, A, on defense. On B, I'm going to run an offense where I'm not going to turn the ball over. He never deviated from that pattern, and I give Andy Reid a lot of credit for that, and actually this is where I'll credit our good friend from Mr. Campbell from Detroit. He didn't deviate from what he did all year, even though I know you disagree wholeheartedly with mine. But again, it was one of the reasons I think the Patriot dynasty is so unique is that Belichick and Brady together did everything exactly almost the same way with what team they had. And they didn't ever, if they lost a game, they lost a game because the other team might have been better or they turned the ball over. But he did a good job yesterday. I thought Andy Reid, playing with his strengths, understanding what he had, throwing to his tight ends. They didn't really play great in the second half. That's really true. But they didn't make the mistakes that cost them.
So the one criticism for the second half with the Chiefs there is I think you could say, I guess like at the time I was thinking maybe they were playing a little bit too conservative. They were not doing enough to get first downs and try and score more points than Mahomes. But at the end of the day, it really didn't matter. They trusted their defense, and they weren't going to make the mistake. I would have liked to have seen, because the only time it ever did get, once it got to 17-7, the only time in the second, because that's what it went into halftime, the only time in the second half when it got to a one-score game was the last drive, and they didn't let the Ravens get the ball back. I would have liked to see if it had gotten to a one-score game, say Flowers scores the touchdown and doesn't fumble. What was the other one? Lamar doesn't throw the interception, they take the field goal. I would have liked to see with some time on the clock how they would have managed that when you couldn't just play conservative anymore. But they never got into that situation.
Well, I think the other thing about conservative, we can talk all we want. I thought Baltimore's defense just was shut down, big-time shut down in the second half. I mean, the Chiefs were thinking, let's run the football, we'll be successful, throw those swing passes to our tight ends and our running backs, maybe take a shot deep here and there. And I think they maybe took 2 shots deep the whole game, and one was the play to Val Scantling at the end. So, again, they played the way they thought they could win. Baltimore did not play well enough to win, and I think I read something today where those teams just don't know how to win. Whereas San Francisco, who's been winning a lot with Shanahan, has been in the Super Bowl. And, of course, Kansas City, you can't doubt they don't know what they're doing. So, again, let's go back to the Baltimore game, first half Baltimore game, where I think that Kansas City took control of the game. And although later in the first quarter, they had that 9-minute drive, I think, right? Mm-hmm. So Kansas City scores, Baltimore comes down and scores right away on the big pass. What are you thinking of that moment?
At that moment, I'm not. You have notes from how I was reacting to that game.
That was the second half more than half.
So I know, but look, I was obviously rooting. I'm a big Chiefs guy. I'm always we're legacy chasing. We're just trying to win as much as possible. When that happened, obviously that's a frustrating touchdown to give up because it's like Lamar just went like Superman on you. So I guess I'm a little bit worried, but the 9-minute drive after that really settles you down, and then right after that, I'm pretty sure it was the strip sack. And then you're starting to think, okay, this is going to be tough for the Ravens to win this game, but the Chiefs let them right back in with that, going for it on 4th down, 4th and 1, which I think they should have went for it. But, you take the ball out of Mahomes' hands, and that great defensive line, great defense of the Ravens stuff you there, and they put the Ravens back in the game, but the Ravens just never, ever could. They couldn't get the points. They couldn't put the ball in the end zone. They couldn't take the field goal. They could not make the mistake. It was really remarkable to watch. I wasn't too worried when it was 7-7. When it was 14-7, I was very excited. That was a drive that if you're a Ravens fan, I think you're starting to get worried because it's how are we going to beat this?
Right. Big, long drive.
Because I think after that drive, you said, oh, this isn't going to be a defensive game. I was like, look, the defenses are eventually going to start getting stops. And they did the rest of the game. Those are the 2 best defenses in the NFL. They are.
I agree with that. And I do remember saying I think we're going to see a blowout here because the 9-minute drive where the Chiefs really dominated the line of scrimmage at that point, but something changed. I mean, they kicked the field goal to get to 17-7 to go into halftime. I think after that 9-minute drive, the Chiefs did absolutely nothing on offense. Really nothing. It was sort of like you're looking at the clock and you're saying, okay, I'm going to run the clock down, look at the clock. And they do have Patrick Mahomes. And the biggest play of the half for them was the last play where they didn't have to kick the ball back, where he threw the 40-yard pass that Scantling caught behind the defense. But I give a lot of credit to Baltimore defense. They after 14, they gave up nothing. They understood and they made the adjustments that were needed to be made. Yeah,
because after 14, the only reason why the Chiefs were able to get that field goal was the stupid personal foul penalties that they got. The Ravens that game, that was just because before the game you see all the fight and you see Tucker's trying to piss off Mahomes and them, and then you saw one of the Ravens guys fighting a bunch of Chiefs. When the game started, that carried over for one team, it didn't for the other. One team still wanted to fight everybody and still was losing their head and made stupid plays, and one team didn't. The Ravens, you can't argue with any of the personal fouls that they got in that game. I think there were 4 all clear-cut personal fouls.
Correct.
Mahomes got punched in the face. Mahomes got popped in the face. Van Noy headbutts Kelsey because Kelsey was baiting him to do it. And, I can't remember. I think there was another personal foul. But they just played stupid, and they got him to get to the 2-score game. And once it got to a 2-score game, like I said, the Ravens never got it back to a 1-score game until the very end.
And also, that drive was weird because there were 2 personal foul penalties, and then the Chiefs had 2 consecutive holding calls.
The holding on the touchdown that they scored.
Yes, so that brought everything back.
And then they made a really nice play. I think they threw it to. They made a real quick read because they're out of field goal range. Mahomes real quick throws like a 10-yard pass right before the end to Kelsey, gets him in field goal range. Butker, I say Butker and Tucker.
I agree.
I'm taking those 2 kickers over anyone else in the NFL right now.
I agree with that.
Both of them nailed their kicks that they needed to nail last night, and Butker made that one. So.
I totally agree with that.
You can't do the stupid things the Ravens did and beat the Chiefs. Just like how you can't do stupid things and beat the Patriots when Brady was there. You just can't get away with that.
And they did a number of stupid things, not only the personal fouls, but I thought those personal fouls.
The taunting. No, the other personal foul was Roquan Smith. Smith, all he had to do was, because that was a smart play to go off sides because it was 1st and 10, 1st and 5. They wanted to get it 1st and 10. I think the Chiefs could have declined it though. All he had to do was just tap the guy. There was no reason for him. Like I said, people complaining about like
that's
never gets called. I've never seen that called unnecessary roughness. Did you watch the play? He literally the lineman sat there and he laid the guy out.
Yeah,
he laid him out.
There actually were 2 taunting penalties, right? Zay Flowers picked up a big one.
That was the only one.
What was the other one?
What, Van Noy was just a personal foul.
No, Roquan Smith was not taunting. You're right.
Yeah, that was unnecessary roughness.
All right, same difference. Yeah, so they ran into those issues really, and again, you would expect, and this is so funny. John Harbaugh's been there a long time. You'd expect them not to act like that.
Yeah, it's weird.
And,
that was weird.
You know, and like I said, somebody wrote somewhere, I don't know where it was. They don't know how to win.
I could not. Honestly, it was strange. Are you gonna cough the whole episode?
Yeah.
It was just weird seeing a team do that. They lost their head at times. And then people are going to complain about the refs no matter what with the Chiefs, I've noticed.
They always do.
And I used to do this with the Patriots. Like, there'd be tickets and stuff, and I'd always say, oh, the ref made this call here. But, like, there's one – I think that was actually a very well-officiated game.
Yep.
There was one call that probably should have been the holding unlikely at the end.
Yes.
Right? But if they call that, let's say they call it, and let's say the Ravens score a touchdown. They still didn't get the stop. They still wouldn't have got the ball back, so it didn't impact the game at all. It just would have been 17-14 instead of 17-10. They still would have had to score the touchdown.
Right.
But other than that, like, a very well officiated game, and then the Chiefs just made the Ravens just made the mistakes. The Chiefs didn't. We should talk about that Zay Flowers fumble. I'm reaching for the goal line.
Yeah, well, let's. So now that score 17-7, right?
Yeah.
And they're driving. They actually was probably the best drive they had all day.
Which one was first? Which one was
first?
The
long
fumble?
pass.
No, what was first? The fumble or
the taunting was first?
No, I'm saying what was first? The fumble or the interception? Do you remember which?
The fumble was first.
It was?
Fumble was because he threw the interception on like the last, they were still down only the last drive.
Yeah, because the interception, everyone, the game was basically over when he did that.
Right. So Baltimore does a great job, and I think that Jackson did a really good job in moving the ball down the field quickly. They make a great play, and Zay Flowers was open all day, by the way. And it's just a matter of the pass rush sort of took Jackson out of his rhythm. But so Zay Flowers takes the ball, gets a great pass play, goes down, spins the ball, gets the personal foul. They lose 15 yards, but they still have a chance to score, and they still get a great play. And they throw the ball to him, and what's he do? He dives in and gets the ball stripped away by the guy who taunted.
Yeah, just a phenomenal play by L'Jarius Sneed. I guess at this point he's underrated in the NFL. There was a point during the regular season, I want to say this, where people were talking about the Chiefs. Do they regret letting Tyreek Hill go? Well, they're now going to their second Super Bowl without him because their receiving core is so bad. Now going to the second Super Bowl without him. They don't have to pay him that big money. Their roster management's great. Their defense is great. They don't have that if they still have Tyreek Hill on the roster. So credit to Mike Borgonzi and his boss and building that team there. But yeah, you can't reach for the goal line there, and then the next drive you can't throw into triple coverage to the Everett boy. Isaiah Likely calling for the ball.
Yeah,
you can't make that mistake. You can't do that. There's one quarterback in the NFL right now who, because I said this about Josh Allen, what they made Josh Allen do last week: throw it short, beat us short, go short. Eventually, Josh Allen's going to he's going to throw to the end zone like he did at the end of the game.
Right.
Remember, he's trying to throw to the end zone. Eventually, Lamar Jackson's going to get sick of throwing short, and they're going to throw to the end zone. The one quarterback who won't do it, who will take what you give him, is Mahomes, and that's why he keeps winning.
Well, again, Baltimore, there's the fumble, and you had a quote, I think, Danny Amendola, that Belichick always told them, you only dive for the end zone. Danny Woodhead.
Yeah.
Danny Woodhead. You only dive for the end zone on fourth down because you have to get in. But again,
it doesn't matter if you fumble.
Right. But I think Baltimore went away early. They had that long pass, and they were throwing the ball well mid-range. They went away from their running game. They didn't run the ball at all.
I got the numbers here. They ran the football 16 times. 8 of them were Lamar rushes. They were like one of the best running football teams this year. They had great offensive line. And the weakness in the Chiefs' defense is their run defense.
So they went away from that early.
I couldn't understand why
they went away from that early. I don't understand why. I mean, maybe they thought they saw something. They were successful. You were always saying, I remember watching the game with you. You go, that guy's always open. Why is he always open? He's always open. He's always open. And I think they again, you get in a big game and you go away from what you could do best, and you lose. And that was always the Belichick mantra. They'll always go away from what they do best. If I take their best away, they'll get all screwed up and they'll lose because they'll make mistakes in that situation. So they only had 16 total rushes. You said?
I don't think they handed the football off once in the second half.
You could be right.
I honestly, I don't think they handed the football off once in the second half. Again, it's like you play Mahomes, you play Reed, and you just freak out. You do things you're not used to doing.
Yeah, but
you get away from what you're supposed to be doing.
You know what? That's a offshoot of that 9-minute drive. Now they're afraid if they hand it off, they go 3 and out. They're going to lose the ball to Mahomes. He's going to chunk. He's going to chunk it out.
Their defense is stopping them all the time.
I agree with you, but again,
that wasn't the
what comes into the mindset? First of all, Zay Flowers with the taunting penalty, and then the dive into the end zone. That's a great play, though. I mean, he fumbles it, but that is a phenomenal football play made by Snead. No doubt about it. Not probably that play gets in your 10 out of 10 and your 100. That play by gets played scores 99 times out of 100. That play is going to score, except for he made the great play. But they score there. It's still only 17-14. Mm-hmm. And there was still probably about 8 minutes left, I think. Is that right?
Well, that's what I said earlier. I would have liked to see if he had scored there, how the Chiefs would have came out of their shell a little bit, not because they showed nothing. They showed nothing. They didn't. Mahomes was doing nothing in the second half. They weren't showing him anything because they didn't have to. They would have had to if it was 17-14. And you know what? I probably would have put my money on Mahomes to come down and get them points there.
Yeah, most likely you could. And they did when they needed to make that big play at the end of the game where they would take the pass gets made. But again, Baltimore, I'm amazed. That number 16 blows my mind. Yeah, absolutely blows my mind. This is a team that relied on their running game, and I know Lamar's part of their offense. But the one thing with Lamar was getting out of trouble a lot.
That's what he does.
The blitz, yeah, I know, but that's why he's the MVP. But for some reason, again, the Chiefs just out-chiefed them, we'll call it, and Andy Reid did nothing really. I think they had one weird play on flea flicker. No, they brought Pacheco in to be the quarterback on the.
They did. Well, yeah, there was no need for that. Yeah,
that play?
There was no need for that. They ran, and they flipped it to I forget who got the ball, but yeah, that was it might have been Edwards-Helaire. No, it could have been Kelsey that got that ball.
I don't know. I don't remember, but I just remember I do remember saying, what the hell are they doing? You got the greatest big game quarterback of his generation. And second only to Brady right now, and you're taking him out. If he doesn't get every snap, what the hell, right?
Mm-hmm. So one more thing, we were talking about. I was complaining about the Ravens guys always being open. How is Kelsey in these big games always open? He had 11 catches, 116 yards. I know some of them he was not open. They made that big play on third down where they said, Jim Nantz actually made the great point. It said the 100-meter dash will be ran quicker than the amount of time that this play took. That was a great play, a great catch, and just them improvising. The touchdown they had in the end zone was a great throw. But there were times where Kelsey was wide open. And I was told they got the guys to stop him. They got Hamilton, they got the linebackers, blah, blah, blah. I do have to say Kyle Hamilton was
I agree with you on that.
Eye-poppingly good. It's always good to see a defensive player that's eye-poppingly good. I always go back to watch it online. Jalen Ramsey versus Miami, Florida State, the year after they won the national championship, where he single-handedly won them the game as a defensive player. So it was good to see Kyle Hamilton do that. How is Travis Kelce always wide open? Now passes Jerry Rice receptions, got the most touchdown combo with the quarterback in the history of the playoffs.
My guess is that they were probably in zone.
They were.
The first half, they played zone. Kelce knows how to get into the spots, into the openings within the zone defense, and Mahomes knows he's going to be there. He made two great catches, by the way. The catch in the end zone for the touchdown was a phenomenal catch, falling away. And the catch where he reaches across his body, that Mahomes puts it in the only place he can put it. But again, in the second half, how many catches did Kelsey really have?
Not a lot. But then again, the Chiefs didn't throw the football that much in the second half. They really, I'm telling you, the Chiefs really didn't. It's like they didn't want to. It's like they didn't want to show. It was. I don't know why they played so conservative, but again, you can't criticize it because it worked.
Right, it worked.
And they never, like I said,
Right,
they
I
never
agree.
had to come out of that. It was never a one-score game until the end.
Yeah. Now, before we move on to the next game, because I think the next game is going to play into a lot of we're going to see. If you play like they played against the Chiefs next game, they're going to get killed.
The Chiefs will kill that
The
team.
final post-mortem on Baltimore. Do they come back from this? Do they have a team? Is their defense good enough to, they'll make the playoffs, but is Lamar sort of like, is Lamar reached his limit? Is this as far as he can take a team, or is there something more out there for him?
I think it's going to be, it'll be a struggle for Lamar. I think like this was his year. It was a down year for the Chiefs. Burrow's hurt, who's in his division. I think this was the year for him to win, so I probably would say I don't see him winning a Super Bowl there with Baltimore anytime soon, just because of the quarterbacks you have to go to. So,
right. I agree with that.
So
I agree with that.
I really I hate to say it, but like I said, I'm taking Mahomes, I'm taking Burrow, and I'm taking Allen over him. I just am. So I think he's the fourth best quarterback in the conference right now. So the fourth, how often is the fourth? Well, then again, like Flacco did win, he was the fourth best quarterback. So you know what? Maybe there is a path. But I thought this was the year to do it.
The fourth best.
This was the year to do it.
But back to Kansas City. Now let's look at Kansas City. Kansas City struggled early in the year. They had a lot of drops. But
early in the year, they struggled the whole year.
Oh, yeah, they got better. I think the last 4 weeks.
No, they didn't. No,
better.
there was a game on Christmas where they sucked.
Oh yeah.
So they did not get better. They never. It was never like they figured out. Maybe a little bit in week 16, maybe a little bit in week, but it was never really like they figured it out. When they went into the playoffs, nobody was picking them besides me.
So what impact did losing Bieniemy, their offensive coordinator, have on the whole season? Because now they had to adjust to a new coordinator. I think that had a big impact.
I think you're overrating it a bit. I just think the talent wasn't there this year. Really, they just didn't have talent. Like Smith-Schuster for them, who sucked for the Patriots. He was good for them last year. I just think they just weren't as good this year. On paper, they weren't as good. In the end of the day, like losing Bieniemy, just like losing Hill, they're in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Rice Rice emerged for them, right? Kelsey was always there, and one thing that it probably goes under the radar with Reed. Reed had 3 good quality receiving tight ends, right? And he exploited that more than and Mahomes, I should say Mahomes too. They exploited that more than going deep to. They never threw the ball deep though in that whole game. But once, like I said, I think probably threw 2 balls over 20 yards.
Mahomes hasn't thrown the ball deep though for 2 years now,
right?
And he's been perfectly fine with doing it. And it honestly. This Mahomes stuff and this Chiefs stuff has made me respect and appreciate the Patriots and Tom Brady more.
Right.
I used to, Tom Brady, dink and dunk and blah, 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 blah. That's smart. That's taking what is being given to you and not forcing things. It is the smart thing to do, and it's how they're going to win this Super Bowl. They're going to win the Super Bowl. I'd be stunned if they lost to San Fran. I'd be stunned.
Okay, but we're not making the prediction like last week, right? No more predictions, please.
We'll go into that, but I do want to pat myself on the back. I want to play 2 clips from our show. So we did, after week 1, we had Justin Trevizzani, our NFL insider, on, and we did our Super Bowl picks. I want to play what my Super Bowl pick was there.
Matchup and winner.
Oh, Chiefs. I'm going to go Chiefs-Cowboys. We'll go Chiefs.
Chiefs-Cowboys, okay.
You know what? Prescott sucks.
You think Cowboys get
Prescott.
Okay.
I love Prescott, but I hate Prescott.
We got
I was so accurate about that. About my pick. Listen to
this.
You know what?
No, you can't.
Cowboys. You know what? I'll go Chiefs-Cowboys, and I'll pick the Chiefs. I'm not, like I said, for the next 5th till Mahomes retires, I'm picking the Chiefs every year. It's a smart pick. It's a smart pick. If you pick the Chiefs every year, you're getting pretty good value. So that was after week 1. There were still people in the media that were saying the Chiefs. There were still people picking the Chiefs.
They lost to Detroit, right? They lost to
yes.
Dan Campbell, your favorite coach.
Yes, they lost to Detroit because of Tony, who totally ruined his career by posting that Instagram post, even though his career is probably ruined anyways. But by week 15, there was nobody sticking with the Chiefs. And you asked me, and week 15, I think, and this is what I said.
Jack is smart. Boy, that's looking good. What 2 teams right now do you think have the best chance of winning the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Okay, so
dude, I'm just not going to say anything different.
I'll
the best team, because I really don't love the Niners. I just don't love Brock Purdy, and I don't know. At the end of the day, I have some sort of feeling that it's going to click for the Chiefs. I don't know. The defense has kind of gotten scoring a little bit recently, but at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, I think Patrick Mahomes will come through. I think they'll figure something out.
I think at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes will come through. They'll figure something out. Just say it. Say it. Say it. You were right. Say it.
You were okay. I'll say it. Jack was right about the Chiefs. God bless him, but he was dead wrong about the Cowboys and hating the Niners. I don't like Purdy either, but that's a good transition to get us to the Niners.
We have way more to do. You have my notes on the game.
Oh, you want to read those notes? You want to go that way?
You got your real snark about me reacting to the game.
Oh my God, guys, you'll love this. Okay, so second, Jack was being a pain in the butt, and we could call sister right now, and even his mom. He watches the game. It's like watching the game with him sometimes is like the most annoying thing in the whole world. I care. He cares. The most annoying thing in the whole world. So, because he gets the first one I wrote because when I first started it, the first one was it's going to be 14-14 at halftime. That's how much or how little confidence he had in his voice.
No, that's not true. Can you get to where's the worst case scenario quote?
Oh, that comes up later.
Yeah. So the reason I said that, and I said it,
that comes up later.
You always, when you're rooting, you always are thinking worst case scenario. You always, because that way you get more excited when that doesn't happen.
Okay, so
and when it does happen, it's a little bit. It makes it easier.
His quote on worst case scenario. Always the worst case scenario. That way, I can't be disappointed. Just like a true sports fan that you are. I can't be disappointed.
Well, obviously I'd be disappointed, but it's like it softens the blow when you're like, all right, I think this is going to happen, so it happens.
All right.
It's like what Kevin does when he quits on his team.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so
what else do we got?
The next one's one. Missed fourth down. It's over. They missed the fourth down. Out of his mind. It's over.
In my defense, I did not know that Lamar and the offensive coordinator and Monken were going to throw up on themselves. So.
No defense. And then I think we were coming down to the end of the half, and you go, got timeouts, got 3 timeouts, baby, and nothing happened.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is. You said that. And then my favorite quote.
Wait, got timeout, 3 timeouts. That's the last drive when they got points. So, yeah, they did.
Yeah. And then next quote, Alex Starzik could punt better than this.
Alex Starzik was a Temple punter. That Chiefs punter had some bad punts in that game. He had a couple good ones, but that Chiefs punter had some bad punts in that game. Alex Starzik, he went to high school with my cousins.
Yes, he did.
And he punted at Temple, and he was not very good. Not at all.
He was Alex Starzik.
I think Graham Smith might listen to the podcast. He probably could punt further than him.
I think, you know what, if you're out listening there, you definitely could punt further than Alex Starzik.
All right, anything else anymore?
Oh, yeah. Then
do we have a Kyle Hamilton quote? I said he was like the best player of all time.
No, I didn't write that down.
All right.
It says, I want you to quote me on everything. And then he says, let's get the field goal. It'll make up for everything. Let's get field goal, make up for everything.
Which it did. It did. Because we
made up for everything.
All I wanted was a 2-score lead.
He was bitching about everything.
I just wanted a 2-score lead. That's all I wanted was a 2-score lead. And they got it.
And then, no. Let's get a field goal, make up for everything. One play later. No. Let's get a touchdown.
Well, yeah, because they kept getting they got back-to-back personal fouls. They got back-to-back personal fouls.
This is like, well, we're going up and down. It's the end of the half, going up.
You got to give context to these.
There's no context. They're going nuts.
Dad, they're at the 5-yard line. I just wanted to get. They had timeouts. I wanted them to get a field goal. Instead, they get free 30 yards. Now I want a touchdown.
Okay, so then
they would have scored a touchdown. They didn't get those holdings. They would have.
Okay, and then we're at the end of the half coming up, and what does he have to say? Well, who does he bring up? He brings up Joe Burrow and the Bengals. He goes, this reminds me of the Bengals game when they effed up.
Yes, this is before this is once they got the 2 holdings.
Yeah.
When if you remember that Bengals game when the Bengals beat them, Mahomes totally effed up right before halftime. Instead of getting out of bounds, he went down, the clock ran out, they didn't get points. So yes, that's what I was referring to. Next.
Okay, and then that was the
These
hold.
all make sense.
Then it was, oh my God, you're obnoxious. I wish I had audio. The hold, that really hurts. That was before the field goal. And then
you said these were all in the second half. These are all in the first half.
I'm sorry. Then you go, that punt is going to kill them. That was in the second half.
Yes, Starzik.
But my favorite one of, I think that's the last one after this. My favorite one of all time. They scored late. Like they kicked the field goal with 9 seconds left.
Who?
The Bengals, right?
What?
Not Bengals, the Chiefs. Whatever. They punted
in the first.
kicked.
Oh yeah.
First half.
Okay.
First half. I get to speak.
It's still stupid.
I get to speak.
Whatever.
Then Jack says, after I'm absolutely right about they're going to kick it deep and they're going to take a knee, he goes, all right, I'm an idiot. Leaving only 4 seconds was okay.
But can we just discuss this? I get I was an idiot because all I had to do was kick it out of the end zone with Butker, and then the Ravens were just going to take a knee. But why? Why did Andy Reid call time with 8 seconds left? Why not call the time with 4 seconds left? I see NFL coaches do this all the time, and I don't have an explanation for it. There's no need to kick that ball off. Just call the time with 4 seconds left, and then you don't have to kick it off.
Whatever.
The clock expires.
What
do you mean whatever?
And then
what
to
do you
go
mean
for
whatever?
it. And then to go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
I have the second half ones. There's three second half ones.
This is interesting because I don't even remember. I was in the zone.
This is pathetic. They are going to find a way to lose this game.
Yeah, because they're playing too conservative. I was wrong.
With 5 minutes left, he said that. Now, at 2:24 to play, they're going to lose this football game because they are stupid.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Because they keep playing conservative, but I was wrong.
And then finally, the last thing. That's why they did not quit on MVS.
True.
That was his final
If you
line.
guys remember, he would never, ever throw him under the bus, Mahomes. He never threw his receivers under the bus this year. Even Tony, he didn't throw under the bus.
He didn't quit on
Tony
him.
threw the team under the bus. He did not quit on those guys. After Martez Valdez-Scantling dropped that ball against, I think it was against the Eagles, and they didn't win that game, he could have thrown him under the bus. He didn't. You know what he said? He said, I could have thrown that ball better. And you know what? It's paid off for them because he's made some big catches in the postseason.
That's
so
correct.
Good for MVS. But yeah, the losing things in the second half is my, I'm always thinking worst case scenario personified.
Yeah, you ought to watch a game. You know, next year or at a big game, whenever that happens, who knows when, we're going to, maybe the Super Bowl, we're going to put the camera on Jack, and then we're going to play clips, and we'll throw them up.
Get the audio. Get the
you
audio
can
during
actually
the Super Bowl,
see him go absolutely batshit crazy.
I think Amanda might have taken some videos.
She did. I'll have to call her.
Yeah, you should go get those. We should have got those for this podcast.
She wasn't going to give those up because you were a complete ass on that situation.
I really wasn't.
You were. We'll call her.
I'm getting the videos then.
Okay, he's calling us.
Okay, just before we move on.
Amanda's working.
Okay,
go. Before we move on.
Yeah, she doesn't text. She never uses her phone. That was one of the dumbest
Hurry
points
up
ever.
Before we move on.
What do you mean hurry it up? What are we in a hurry for?
No,
Why are you
before
always
we
trying
move
to hurry
on.
things up? No, I have way more stuff to talk about. We have to start talking about legacy, and before we talk about legacy, I want to talk about right now because I gave my quarterback takes. How do you rank the AFC quarterback? Where do you rank Lamar? Do you rank him above Allen? Do you rank him above Burrow? Who's number two actually right now? Who's number two in the NFL? If you could pick, obviously everyone's taking Mahomes first. Every single executive would take Mahomes. Who gets?
I still would take Josh Allen too.
I'd take Burrow.
Because Burrow's always hurt. Burrow, baby,
He's always
3.
hurt. He's been hurt.
Lamar,
I guess
4.
He has been hurt twice.
Herbert, 5 in the AFC. And then maybe
Herbert or Rodgers next year. I'd take
Deshaun
Rodgers.
Watson.
Deshaun Watson stinks. Stroud.
Then you have Stroud, C.J. Stroud. You have Dak Prescott.
Well,
Tua.
Those are going to the NFC.
Tua's average.
Tua's horrible.
Who am I missing? Russell Wilson. Ugh.
Nope.
Pittsburgh, no. Who else is missing there? Indianapolis, no.
I really didn't hear what you said. Can you go again? What was your top 5?
Top 5 would be Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and Burrow.
So you have Burrow 4th. The only guy active who's beat Mahomes, you have him 4th.
Yeah, because he hasn't shown me nothing for 2 years. He just saw what he beat him.
2 years? He was in the AFC Championship last year.
Yeah, but he lost.
Okay, so did Lamar.
Oh, so they both lost.
So is Josh Allen.
So they all
But the
lost.
only one who's won is Burrow.
Oh, the only one who's won is Burrow. Brady won. He didn't play anyone.
We're not talking about Tom Brady.
But then again,
right
break for
okay.
the.
Well, you
and
want to
then
talk about Tom Brady?
I would go 5 would probably, counting on what happened this year, I'd go C.J. Stroud 5 or Herbert 5.
All right, now let's get on to the legacy thing. Where does Mahomes, because he still hasn't won this third Super Bowl, where do you have him right now, all time?
Probably 4 or 5 all-time quarterbacks.
Behind?
Behind Brady, Manning, Montana. Maybe,
Elway?
And maybe Elway.
Elway,
won
Marino.
2. Elway won 2.
Marino or Mahomes?
No, he had Marino because he's won. He's
Okay.
had a Marino.
Okay, I think the only person now with more playoff wins than him, it's only Brady and Montana.
Right.
And Montana's like 2 or 3 wins ahead of him. He's tied with Manning right now. It's honestly unbelievable what he's done in his career so far. And I see that they're the stupid people that like the people say, oh, he's already the GOAT. No, he's not. Look, you can't. He doesn't compare with this 24-year career, 7 Super Bowl wins, 10 appearances of Tom Brady. Yet, look, he has a chance to get there if he can stay healthy and play another 15 years. There's going to be a lot of turnovers. He's going to have to go through a new coach. But you can make the argument that, like, at his peak or right now, like this 5-year run he's on, it's the best 5-year run any quarterback's ever had. You could argue that.
You could, you could. We talked about that, but again, it's in 6 years. In 6 years, Terry Bradshaw won 4 though, and I know we bitch about the 70s and all that stuff.
I'm not.
But he
I'm
still
not
won
dealing
4.
with
He
that.
still
I get
won
it.
4. He
You're not
still
taking.
won 4.
You're
Still
not
won 4.
taking. You're not taking Bradshaw over Mahomes.
I didn't say I would take a Bradshaw. But no.
They would've-
I did not take Bradshaw over. I'm just making the point.
The Steelers would have
I'm just
won 5
making
if
the
they had
point. I'm
Mahomes.
just
They would've
making the
won
point.
5.
But then so who? The Steelers?
Yeah.
But the Steelers would have won 5 if they had Manning, for Christ's sake.
Sure, but you can't compare Terry Bradshaw to Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady.
I'm just saying he won 4 in 6 years. No one else has done that.
I should get
4 in 6 years.
that hilarious Terry Bradshaw clip of him with Edelman. His daughter's drinking his spit cup.
No, that's disgusting.
different
I've had
stuff.
another. Okay, so I still think right now he's behind legacy. He's behind at least the 3 who I think are the top 3 of the offensive generation.
So if he wins the Super Bowl, how's he behind Manning?
Because I think Manning's body of work is better overall. Manning might have been the greatest quarterback of all time anyway, and Brady's the greatest winning quarterback of all time anyway. And I think there's an argument between those two. Montana I think he approaches Montana before he approaches Manning.
So you just really think highly of Peyton Manning is what
I would have to say. I think that you're right. I think
but the way
of
I
Peyton
feel
Manning.
about Mahomes is Mahomes is like Manning with the Brady aspect, with the winning aspect. That's what's so amazing about him. He's the best regular season quarterback, maybe not this year, but he's won 2 MVPs already, and he's also the best postseason quarterback of his era. Manning, you could say was the best regular season quarterback of his era, and Brady was the best postseason quarterback of his era. Mahomes is the best both. He is.
Okay. Of his era, yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
No, that's just,
I agree with you.
That's just
hey,
the
listen,
talk.
it's, you know what? Like I say to everybody, they can be great, and they can all be great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Brady and Manning and Mahomes and Montana and Bradshaw and Marino and Elway and Roethlisberger and Eli Manning, who've all won Super Bowls.
Please,
they can all be great quarterbacks.
No. We're not. No, we can't be mentioning Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger,
He's won as many,
and Terry Bradshaw, and Patrick Mahomes. We can't be doing that.
First of all,
I don't care how much they won.
Until they win this third one, he still only won 2.
Okay, but you can't. You can't in the same breath say the word Eli Manning and Patrick Mahomes. You can't.
Would you listen to what I just said?
No, I'm not.
The problem is you don't listen. I said you can have great quarterbacks, right? You asked me who the top 4 were.
Okay.
Eli Manning's not even my top 10. Not even my top 15, probably.
Yeah, but you can't.
But he was still won the Super Bowl. Cool. He was still, same with Roethlisberger. They were great in their own times. They were, in that period of time, might have only been 2 Super Bowls they were great, but they were great. A body of work is different.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco won once, and then he choked against Baltimore.
I'm just saying. I can't. When you were talking great quarterbacks, you can't.
I didn't say great
breath,
quarterbacks. I said,
you said
that every year, like you have Manning and Brady, they were great. Okay, you have Elway and Marino, they were great. You have Montana and Joe Theismann won a couple Super Bowls, for Christ's sakes. You know, you have Bart Starr. You have all those guys who go. Johnny Unitas won a lot of championships for the team he played for. Those guys were great within their period of time. Every period of time is going to have a great quarterback.
But you still, when we go back, you still mention Brady and Mahomes in the same breath as Eli Manning. And part of
the fact that they won multiple Super Bowls.
Okay, sure. Then they are quarterbacks and won multiple Super Bowls. They're not in the same stratosphere. They're just not.
And I never said they were in the same size. That's what you don't listen.
All right, no.
You asked me who my top 5 were. And, did you hear me say Roethlisberger and Manning?
No, but
Peyton,
I still.
Eli?
It's still when they are in the same sentence, it's hard to put up with. It really is.
Oh my God, you'll get over it sometime.
And I gotta say, ESPN, how lucky they got their new Jordan LeBron debate for the next 15, 20 years.
That's
now.
True.
They've been milking that for 15 years. Now they got another one.
Yeah. So, they'll do that.
That'll get milked for the next 15 years.
All right. Enough of Kansas.
And it's annoying because there's
no need
to compare them.
Let's move on to the next game.
Even though I just did.
Huh?
I just said there's no need to compare him, but I didn't. I said Brady's much better than him right now.
Let's move on to the next game.
Career legacy wise,
I love to do the next game. There's only one other game.
I know.
Played. Detroit took.
We have an hour. How long have we been on?
37 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. And this game was more important because I'm a Chiefs guy, so we are on perfect time right now.
All right. Detroit played San Francisco. We have calls coming in too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Detroit played. Did we ever try to call Tom? No, we have this one. Detroit played San Francisco and took a 70-point lead at halftime. And fell flat on their faces. Okay? I know that you and I have disagreed on Dan Campbell going for 2 fourth downs. and I think it's a stupid idea to go for the second one. I agree with you, but that's the way he coached all year. He lost the way he won. Opinion.
I just have to say I missed the first half of this game because you were watching Temple, who's like honestly one of the worst college basketball teams of all time. What have they lost 7 straight conference games?
I don't. Why are you making fun of me watching Temple? That's unfair.
I'm just saying Temple BC next year. So everyone get your tickets for that at Mohegan Sun.
And UMass who?
UMass is playing Providence, and I think it's like a little tournament there. So the winners and the losers. We'll probably get a UMass Temple game next year. But I have to say, I would rather go 7-10, like the Lions always do, than have what happened to their team happen to me. I wouldn't like what he did to them. That coach, I can never forgive. If I were the fan of the Lions, I get it. He turned around your program. He did this. But it was the best Lions season ever. You don't. Those chances don't grow on trees. Ask Atlanta. You're not going to be back there. You're not. And I said the Lions were going to win the Super Bowl. I was right. I was offended. I was sick. I couldn't even speak. I almost cried. It was the worst coaching decision I've seen in my life in any sport.
Okay, so you're saying
what was 03? Grady Little.
Little's worse.
10 times worse than Grady Little.
No.
Worse. 10 times worse. 10.
No.
10 times
Sox
worse.
had that game won.
Yep. Well, so did the Lions.
They didn't win. They had the game won because they were up 17.
They should have went back.
They didn't lose because they did not lose that game because they went for 2 fourth downs. They lost that game because they couldn't stop San Francisco in the second half.
Yeah, and then they fumbled and then the fluke play with Ayuk and all that. But blah blah blah.
Things happen though.
They still had chances. I know they don't trust their field goal kicker. Blah blah blah. I know this. I know that. You gotta kick the football, especially when it's a 3-point game. You're down by 3 and you go for it instead of tying the game.
I know.
I agree.
The
worst coaching decision of all time.
So for all our Detroit
listeners,
for all Detroit listeners who on TikTok comment about you, and you might as well find another thing to do.
I'm back.
He's back.
I was rooting for you guys.
You can comment anytime you want. I have to try to figure out a clip we're going to put out there for my friends from Detroit. But let's go back to the game.
I just took my friends from Detroit? I will root for. No, I can't because you have that coach. If you don't have that coach, I want your city to succeed now because I feel so bad for what happened, but I cannot root for that coach.
They have the Pistons.
I cannot root for that coach. Yeah, the Pistons. Jeez, they finally beat a team over 500. Don't get me distracted. That coach is a disgrace. He's a disgrace to the sport. I can't even look at his face. And I said on this podcast, I picked against him in a playoff game. I forget which one it was. Was it
the first one? The first one.
Who'd they play?
I don't remember.
Yeah, okay, thanks. They whoever their first playoff game was, I said
Rams. They played the
Rams. I said McVay was going to beat him because the coach was going to be too emotional and beat himself. And I was just 2 weeks early on that, but I was right about him. Too emotional. His game plan doesn't work. That does not work. It doesn't.
Okay. I want to go back to San Francisco now. We all know what the coach did, and we saw it.
Amanda sent 9 videos.
She did.
Can I just let's
oh
play
my God,
one. I just don't even
hilarious.
know.
What is this guy doing? Oh man.
That's watching a game with Jack. I'll turn it up a little bit. Go.
It won't let me scroll through them.
Oh well, that's a lot of fun. Live action. My daughter Amanda, who's part of it all boils down to this, sending us videos of Jack in the game. Here we go.
You're a joke, dude.
That's after the holding. That was a stupid holding to get.
Well, we can't play the copyrighted stuff there.
Yeah, all right, I guess.
All right, so that was
here, really. Come on.
This is them kicking the field goal, I think. You know what? These aren't even that good. These aren't. You guys act like I'm like a maniac, and I'm not even doing anything.
You are a maniac.
Let's get a 25-yard completion to Kelsey. Let's get a touchdown. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Great. All right.
Okay, these videos suck. You know what? You overreacted to how annoying I was during that game.
No, I never overreact to it, and I'll get Amanda the vouch for that. She was just trying to serendipitously. There's a big word for you.
Talking about our eating our sauce. That just ruined everything.
She sort of serendipitously was trying to record you without you knowing.
I thought there were videos of me giving takes.
Yeah, you don't give takes, Rail. Hey, let's go back to the right game. Hey!
You just said I don't give takes. Well, what about my Lions take?
Oh, that was the best take of the year.
Say it again.
Best take of the year.
Jack was right. No, the best take of the year was the Chiefs one that they won the Super Bowl.
Hey, let's go back to San Francisco. I know they're in the Super Bowl. I know they're right now 2-point favorites, but
I think it's already down to 1.
They've fallen behind in 2 games against 2 teams that were, a 3 seed and a 7 seed, who weren't, shall we say, what's the word I want to use here without getting anybody pissed at me, who weren't really great in the regular season in the North. So I think that bodes very poorly for them. And somebody says, well, they haven't figured it out yet. They'll figure it out. I look at that team, and they just are not playing. They've been very fortunate a couple times, a couple turnovers, both games. Young quarterback when one, and then the fumble was deadly for Detroit. But where do you see the 49ers right now?
They should have lost both the games. Their defense is immensely overrated. But I do still have the thing that worries me a little bit. They get a good offensive line. They get McCaffrey, and that can hurt the Chiefs. But I just don't think they're going to be able to stop the Chiefs. I really don't. I think the Chiefs win the game by 10. I think it's their easiest Super Bowl win yet. It'll be this one. The Eagles won last field goal at the end of the game. The first 49ers won. They were down 10 with 6 minutes left. I really just think they wire to wire win this.
And I have no confidence in Brock Purdy at all. Not at all. I think, again,
he made some nice plays in the second half, but he was awful in the first half.
He made some very nice plays. It was the Ayuk thing was just so fortunate for them to but then again, you have to have that play if you're going to win. You need a little bit of fortune to go your way. The fumble didn't help either.
No, you want me to? You know who else had a play that was a fluky play and ended up losing? Jermaine Kearse against the Patriots. Remember that little play that ended up and he caught it when on that drive, and then they threw the interception, so they didn't win the game after getting that play.
All right. So
I can always find Patriots stuff.
So
to
as we go into the that game and just who played well, I don't again. San Francisco defense
played well.
Yeah, he did. He always does. San Francisco's defense got shredded all game. And even the last, even after Campbell didn't kick a field, they drove right down the field. I know they were playing prevent. They drove right down the field. Then the worst call of the year. Worst call of the year wasn't not kicking on fourth down. Worst call ever in a playoff game. Almost as bad as McFleur. What's his name?
LaFleur.
McFlurry kicking kicking against Brady. Kicking that
was not a bad
field
call.
goal. The worst call ever. You got 3 timeouts. You're on the end zone.
Yeah.
Third down. They run the football. They don't make it. Who the hell makes that call?
The coach. That was the coach.
The offensive coordinator.
No,
right?
I don't know if that was the offensive coordinator. I think that was more of the the coach really has to approve that. That's the coach who's making that call there. The offensive coordinator, I can't imagine, he's submitting that. He's got that play ready, but the coach is making the decision to run the football.
I think if you're going to run the football, run on a first down, everybody's right there, you can spike right away.
It's hard to criticize the offensive coordinator because he called I think it's Ben Johnson, he called a perfect.
Except for that play.
He called a perfect game in the first half, and then even on these plays that they went for in fourth down, one of them, the Reynolds kid dropped one of the first fourth down when they should have kicked to go up 17.
Right.
They should have got that. He dropped it, so he called a perfect game. It wasn't his fault.
The second fourth down when they could have kept the field goal to tie, that was atrocious. That might rank up there, but that third, you got 3 timeouts left. You're going to score. In reality, all you needed was a field goal. Because you were then it was a 2-score game, makes it a 1-score game. All you needed was a field goal. Why don't you kick the field goal?
Well, you would have had no.
No. You said no time, but there's no time to get a touchdown.
You cannot kick a field goal there. You would have had no time. So if you kick a field goal there, you kick off. You use your 3 timeouts. You stop them. They punt it down. You have to go score a touchdown with 30 seconds left with no timeouts. You have to score the touchdown.
It's better than not scoring points.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
They scored a
points, the game's
touchdown.
over. Yeah, they eventually scored a touchdown.
If you're on the 1-yard line,
so
you
why
cannot
are you running
kick a field goal.
Why are you running the football? Why?
I don't know. Because they thought they would get it in. It was a do or die play basically, and they didn't get it in. That was
absolutely
it.
play
Kicking a field goal there. That'd have been the stupidest thing ever.
At least they would have gotten the ball back. They had no chance to get the ball. Yeah, they would have. They had 3 timeouts left.
That's not a guarantee that they would have gotten the ball back.
No guarantees, right?
They would have gotten the ball back. You saying they should kick a field goal there? No, they should just score a touchdown.
Well, I agree with that. They could have, though.
Field goal?
So
there's a 0%.
How much time ran off the clock when they ran that football?
You have more of a chance of recovering an onside kick in today's NFL than scoring a touchdown with 0 timeouts for a 70-yard drive.
Absolutely. I bet you're 1,000% right.
You have to get a Hail Mary. The only way you do that's a Hail Mary.
All my listeners out there, he thinks... we gotta have Justin Trevisani.
Justin Trevisani would call you the biggest idiot
that's
ever existed.
I want to go back to your no.
Field goal.
I want to go back. You gotta get 2 scores anyway.
You can't.
You don't get no scores. You can't win.
Okay, I really. Okay,
here's go. I'm content.
No, I can't.
What is the? Look it up on your phone. Look up on your computer. What's the percentage you get of? Onside kicks percentage. 1.8% of them are
That's
successful.
the point. That's the
1.8.
point.
You have more chance of throwing a bombs and getting scored.
No, not really. No.
Stupid play. You know what? You could kiss Ben Johnson, whatever God's name. You could kiss his ass all you want. You call it a great game and a shit game, and you can piss all over the coach. But whoever made that call and the offensive coordinator makes that call.
You just said they should kick a field goal, though. You're totally changing your stance.
No, I said they could have kicked a field goal.
No, they
if
couldn't
they're going to
have.
run the football.
No, they could not have kicked.
I'm
the
saying
field
they
goal.
could have.
They could not have kicked.
We'll
the
ask
field
Jay Trev when we get a chance.
goal. No, I'm not. If I ask Jay Trev that question, he's gonna think bad of my football brain. He'll be like,
him.
this kid's
I
an
want you to
idiot.
ask him the question.
He's an idiot.
Ask him. Text him right now.
No, I'm not texting Jay Trev.
You're
No,
afraid to
I'm-
text him because you don't know the answer. to
No,
me.
no, he's gonna listen to this and be like, kick a field goal. What are you talking about? Kick a field goal?
You needed points, right? Do you agree with me or not? You need points.
You needed
Now,
7 points.
when you're within 5 yards, you got to score the touchdown on the first play, right?
No, this is so bad. No, this is so bad. You think that they had a chance of winning that game if they kicked a field goal there?
Okay, let me ask you a question. When do you kick a field goal then?
What does that mean?
So if you're
You
on
kick a field goal when you're down
if
3.
if it's fourth down at the 25-yard line, fourth and 20 at the 25-yard line, do you kick the field goal?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, you have to. All right,
'Cause unless you get like Jalen Miller
if you're
on your
gonna
team.
run the football, and waste 35
They shouldn't
seconds.
have ran the football.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's the
But
dumbest
kicking a
play
field
ever.
goal is not the answer.
It would have been better than running the damn football.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No, it would have been just as bad, I think. No.
All right, enough.
It's equally
Would've been.
stupid. They're both stupid. Running the football, you have a chance at scoring a touchdown. Kicking the field goal, you're just kicking the game away.
Kicking the field, get 3 points. Running the foot, not getting a touchdown,
You get 3 points. You use all your timeouts,
right.
and then you have to put the ball in the end zone for at least a 70-yard drive
right.
with like 30 seconds left.
So you're definitely like San Francisco in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we got Kev, right?
Yeah, let's just hear. This is the Kevin, the quick take. Because that was on Fox. That was on Fox. He doesn't have like a cable box, so he streams everything. So he's got to use the. He's been using the Fox Sports app for a while now, and this is he's not a big fan.
I just wanted to say, and this is a long-standing gripe and grudge I've had. Fox, the company, I checked their market cap. It's roughly $15 billion, so that's roughly what they're worth. They should fire their head of technology for their Fox Sports website now.
You should buy cable.
Because every time I use it, the stream cuts out every 10 minutes, and they play me like some random ad for 5 seconds. Then the stream will go back, and then I miss the play that's happening. This has happened for me in college football. This happens to me every time I watch Xavier in college basketball because Fox has the Big East. And then I was watching the NFC Championship game today. So whoever runs the technology side of things on that website, on that app, I'm calling for them to be fired officially. Even though it doesn't matter, but some random guy calling into a Wilmington community television show, but I want him to be fired, or her, whoever is doing it.
That's the best one ever.
Just unacceptable.
love Kevin.
The company.
You gotta love Kevin.
I just real quick. Are you plugged into the Ethernet, Kevin?
Yeah, I don't understand. Get better Wi-Fi, goddammit. It's not their fault. Your Wi-Fi probably
I think
blows.
the Fox News app might suck.
Oh, okay.
Worth tens of billions, and you can't get the website to work. It's beyond me. And then you guys will talk ad nauseum about this, but it's insulting to the players what Dan Campbell did today. Those players worked hard all year, and for him to make two completely boneheaded decisions regarding field goals, it just is ridiculous. And you could tell at the end of the first half when he was thinking about going for it, it killed him that he had to kick that field goal to go up 17. It killed him. And that was a telling sign for his actions in the second half. So that's just my quick rant on the football stuff. But, talk to you guys soon.
That's true. They kicked a field goal before the halftime, and they made it. And he really did not want to kick it. He really didn't want to kick it. And you have to kick it. He had to kick it, and he just didn't want to. And they made it. So I guess that should give you confidence you kick it for the next kicks. Right. They just didn't go with it.
But what if they make those 2 fourth downs and he's a hero?
No, even if they made that when they were down 3 and they made that 4th down and they won the game, I still would have called him an idiot. Even if it worked, he would have been an idiot.
Yeah, you were calling a lot of people idiots the other night too. Yeah. Last night. All right, so on San Francisco, quick take. You told me the defense overrated. I have not been impressed with their defense. Deebo Samuel's got to be hurt because he is not seeing the ball. McCaffrey is
Samuel
their whole
had
offense.
8 catches for 90 yards. Samuel was fine.
Yeah, 8 for 90 though. He didn't no yards after catch.
What does that mean?
Yag.
This doesn't. What does that?
No, it doesn't give you
say
that.
Yag. He has eight catches for 89 yards.
That means he only every 8 catches for 89, so like 8.2 yards a catch.
Eight catches for 89 yards. That's 11.1. That's bad
8,
math.
not 9. I think so. Okay.
You can't say he played bad. He played fine.
And McCaffrey's the whole key.
Yeah, McCaffrey, I think I would vote. Look, it's hard, like you say it now because you see the playoff performances. McCaffrey was the MVP in the NFL this year. He was.
He probably was.
Because the Ravens, their defense is so elite that obviously they're going to win games. The 49ers are winning games because of him. They were saying, like, he really toughs it out this year. They're saying, back in Carolina, he would sit out games with, like, paper cuts.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't miss games
save his
now.
money. The other thing about San Francisco's defense is Detroit shredded them with a run.
Yeah.
And that does not bode well for the Super Bowl. Because if Kansas City can run the football and open it up, they're in trouble. So they're going to have to tighten that up.
Like I said, 10 points.
And the coaching matchup, I think Shanahan's probably – is Shanahan from his tree? No, Shanahan's from his dad's tree. The coaching matchup, I think, still favored – and everybody loves Shanahan, but Shanahan's had really two major losses. He lost the Super Bowl and he lost that 28-3 game. But I think
those are the same thing.
I think coaches – so let's just do a quick –
He lost – oh, they are. The Super Bowl and the 28-3 game, those are both the Super Bowl.
Right. Well, one was the Super Bowl, one was his Super Bowl.
He lost the 28-3 as the coordinator.
Okay, so let's go real quick. Coaching advantage. Who do you think?
J-Triff says Shanahan's the best coach in the NFL. That's why I'm going to say that the Chiefs have the coaching advantage.
I go with the Chiefs. I go with you. Quarterback, Purdy, Mahomes. I go Mahomes.
Don't even ask.
Skill position players.
Not even close. 49ers.
Yes, agree on that. Defensive line.
I don't know it. I don't know enough about I'm just gonna say the Chiefs' defense is a lot better. It's a lot better.
I would think so.
And I think their physicality, their defensive secondary. They got Chris Jones, like who they got the 49ers got J-Trust's boy Fred Warner, but whatever.
And then kicking game, I think Butker is
kicking
far away.
Yeah,
but
huge.
The punters,
Starzak, yeah.
Starzak punt.
What is it? Who is the?
So
punter
how
for
the
the
heck?
Chiefs?
If you and I think that way, how is San Francisco favored by 2 to start?
Nobody knows. Nobody. There's not a person on the planet who. So it opened at 2.5. Within an hour, it was at 1. The Chiefs, I think, will be favored by the time.
I think that Vegas probably wanted the money to go early on San Francisco, and so
let's see if it changes at all.
To checking the odds. This is a gambling show now, and that's it. So we'll be back when we come back next week. Maybe we'll get.
It's down to 1, and they're both minus money. There's no 49ers minus 118, Chiefs minus 102.
Okay,
so it's basically a pick 'em.
So we'll do a big Super Bowl show next week. So maybe we'll get J-Trav, maybe we'll get Chris Greco, maybe we'll get maybe we can get David Emmett if we're lucky, just to give us their preview of some of the game next week. But I just want to bring up as we get ready to close the show, Friday night, John Amico got his first home win. Wilmington High School boys basketball. I know we've been doubting them somewhat, but they played great. Jack was there. The officiating was absolutely horrible.
I don't think it was that bad.
Wakefield couldn't hit a 3, and I think
how candid can I be about that Wakefield team?
You can't be candid at all. You can't say anything. They just didn't shoot the ball well.
It was. It was like their football team and their football coach came and played. That was the worst shooting performance ever. I was a career middle school 20% shooter from the field.
Yes.
I was better than every kid on that team at shooting. Every kid, besides maybe number 23.
Right, and I will say this about the boys. They stepped it up. They had a lead. They
played great.
They played great in the fourth.
Who's number 11 Wilmington?
Michael Lawler.
That's the kid. He turned into Magic Johnson in the fourth quarter. Honestly,
he did.
He was doing his little. He had his little telescope celebration.
Yeah.
He made a behind the back pass.
Oh my God, that was incredible!
He had a great pass to a guy cutting in the lane. He also had a huge up. He had a huge up fake. He had a corner 3. Huge up fake. Came around, swung it all the way to the other corner. Drained a massive 3 to go up 9.
I think really, he drained that
energy impact in that game. And then the big kid Balter. He was rebounding everything, and they were missing and it's not easy to get rebounds off 3-pointers, grabbing everything.
And the other thing, Ben Marvin had like a 3 or 4 minute stretch in the fourth quarter where he really played well.
You're bringing the ball up, breaking the press.
And then, like I said, they played great. I know I talked to Coach Amico before the game. He was looking to zone them up. He was going to play 1-3-1, play 2-3 matchup, make them shoot the threes, and he scouted them well and was doing well.
The 1-3-1 dominated them. It had them in a pretzel. And I was very happy they won that game because that Wakefield team was getting on my nerves a little bit.
Yeah, you should have seen Jack's going to be upstairs with me on the track. And he's yelling and screaming. So the good news is tomorrow night we're going to put Jack on the color commentating mic with me. And like I said, congratulations to John and the boys. They deserve everything. If you get a chance, watch the replay. They played great. I'm happy for them. I hope it leads to some more wins. We should be very competitive with Stoneham this week on Tuesday night. We got Watertown at home, who gave us a little bit of trouble on Friday. Hopefully that'll help it. You had one last thing we wanted to finish with was something happened in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, so you see with my Manchester United fan, my Manchester United hat on. So if you guys know, the biggest rival of Manchester United is Liverpool. And they've been in a little stretch over the past about a decade now. With this guy coaching them, Jurgen Klopp, he's really turned everything around and made them just a powerhouse, one of the best teams in the world. Comes out the other day, he's stepping down at the end of the year. So that is just seismic news. Really, I was shocked to see it. I guess he's a little bit worn out. He's going to take some time off. I got more from our Kevin call. Let's
Kevin finish us out there.
Yeah, we're gonna hear what Kevin has to say about Klopp, and then I'll give some more thoughts.
Hey guys, calling in about Klopp. Jack wants me to talk about that for a little bit. So, for him to come over and take over for a horrible Liverpool team led by FSG, your favorite ownership group, on a tight budget, to take him from where he got him, I think was 2014, 2015, to where they are now is nothing short of incredible. Won a Champions League, won a Premier League, won an FA Cup. Just an incredible job done by him. They were in total disarray when he took over. They were in a horrible spot. The squad was horrible. They didn't have a lot of money to spend. And he was really able to build that club back, get that relationship with the fans back, compete toe-to-toe with City in the league for it seems like 4 or 5 years straight, when City is just, backed by a nation state and has unlimited funds and can do whatever they want and get away with any sort of, crimes that they make in the game. Liverpool always did it the right way, on a budget, and he should be commended for that. The job that he did was far harder than what Pep had, far harder. And even though they weren't as consistent as City in terms of consistent Premier League wins, they had some heartbreaking losses there. I mean, the Champions League loss against Madrid was horrible, and the other one too with the keeper Karius. Oh my God! But then the ones where they'd basically lose in the last day to City. I remember the one when we were driving back after graduating college in 2022 when that happened. That was insane. But yeah, overall, just want to say thank you to Jurgen. He made it entertaining. And wish him the best in his sabbatical, and maybe he'll coach Germany or something like that in the future, for a national team manager role. But
look, I'm not going to be...
First of all, great Premier League talk. He's talking about things I have no clue what he's talking about.
I'm not going to be totally salty about this, but I'm not going to be like Kevin and all, fawning over him and thank you, Jurgen, and all that, because I can't stand Liverpool, and he's effed us over a few times, and they beat us badly a few times. But I will say he was a little bit fortunate coming into the club. Kevin says they weren't in total disarray. Their roster sucked. That's true. It was awful. He was fortunate to have this guy, Michael Edwards, who is their sporting director, who, if you guys have heard, Mo Salah, one of the greatest Premier League players ever, Klopp didn't even want to sign him. He wanted to sign this guy from Germany. The sporting director's like, no, we're signing this guy. He's ended up leading the way for him. So he's been fortunate at that. I'm not taking anything away from what Klopp's done as a manager. It's incredible that he has competed, with Man City. There were summers where they didn't spend any money. They got lucky with a sale of one of their players to get some money in, which allowed them to get a world-class goalkeeper and a world-class defender. That's really helped them. But at the end of the day, what he's won, Pep won in 10 days last year. He only won one Premier League. He only won one Champions League. He only won one FA Cup. Pep did that in 10 days last year. He did it in 10 days. I'm not trying to be mean here, but and Kevin says, his job was way harder, but Pep won way more. He did. Now, again, he's an all-time great manager. He won Liverpool their first Premier League title in 30 years. I would have died to have him at our club, even though if he was at our club, he would have failed because of the structure of our club. And he's a great manager, but everyone says there will be people saying he's the best manager of his generation in the Premier League. He's nowhere near Pep Guardiola. He isn't.
All right. Good
That's
Oh,
really
good Premier
when
League
people
talk.
hear that, people are gonna be like, "Wow, he's being real salty about that."
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
people are
like
gonna hear
that's
that.
a prick move.
People are going to hear that and say, "Why aren't they talking about pro football? Why are they talking about football?" The other
Pro
kind.
football for an hour.
I
You
know.
told me we had to rush.
I didn't have to rush.
But this Klopp thing, look, I respect what Klopp did at Liverpool. I do. Like I know it sounds like I don't because he didn't win. He didn't win what he should have won. He didn't. He should have won more. Again, they lost the Premier League twice by a point.
Yep.
They lost 2 Champions League finals. One of them they weren't good enough to win, but the other one they should have won. And like a goalkeeper just had a great performance against them. But it is what it is. And at the end of the day, he should have won more than he did. He should have won more.
So the next FSG guy to leave, you're going to give the same praise to Alex Score?
Alex Score is the man.
Okay, good.
Alex Score is great.
Hey,
Alex
before we
Score is
leave,
effed by his owners.
before we leave,
Just like Klopp kind of was.
Before we leave, I just want to real quick, Celtics, Clippers, anything?
I no thoughts. They played horrible. It was a disgrace. Honestly, it's just a disgusting performance. I turned it off. It ruins all the good things they did against the Heat.
Right.
I
agree with that.
Look,
they were horrible.
I never criticized the coach. The coach was not prepared for that game. In a 7-game series, though, I would imagine they'll be able to make the adjustment. I saw something because the Clippers didn't shoot the ball well either.
No, they didn't.
The problem was the quality of twos that they got. You have Porzingis, it changes a lot. The Celtics aren't the one thing.
They didn't have Porzingis though in the first matchup, right?
No, they didn't have Tatum in the first matchup, but the Clippers didn't have Kawhi. So that's a trade-off there.
Okay,
I just want to say real quick, they're not going to win the title without Porzingis.
I agree with that.
So I think that game showed me that.
I think one thing that game shows me, they really have to try. I know I love the 3-point idea because it's statistically makes sense, but somehow they got to just change a little bit where they focus on when they're struggling like that. How can they get the ball inside and score?
Yeah, I get that, but like when it's just I don't want to make when they have Porzingis. That's the reason they got Porzingis is to counter that 3-point issue that they have.
We'll get to talk a lot about that.
That's why I say they're not going to win without him. We have a lot of time.
We'll get to talk a lot about that as we get to April and May and June and July and whenever the basketball season goes into. So a good show today. We got to really harp on Jack's Kansas City Chiefs. He stuck with them all year. They've rewarded him by making the Super Bowl. San Francisco will be the opponent. Next week we'll probably look at the matchup hard. The week after that we'll look at the postmortem, and then the week after that I think we're going to be off because I'll be traveling. Eventually we'll be back with some fun stuff. Jack has something to say.
Klopp did win like a Community Shield or 2 in a Club World Cup, so congrats to him.
Congrats to Klopp as well. So thanks to Kevin. For calling in and giving us his Fox Sports apps problems and Jordan Klopp's interesting stuff.
Jurgen Klopp. We're not going to do this because I've heard people in Boston media call him Klopp, and you just called him Jordan. So Jurgen Klopp.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
Premier League legend.
Oh, good. All right. So episode 24 comes to a close. We're for Jack Boyle over there taking out his headphones already, even though I didn't turn the music on. And I'm Jim Boyle for It All Boils Down to This, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV Studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.